Hi everyone, hope everyone's well. It's Meme Stars for the ZoomX channel. Today we're going to do an analysis on BTC, because BTC was hit its all-time high yesterday, so we're going to analyze that together. So for BTC arriving here, having this wick and this pullback, for me it was a bit of a logical move because you're never going to brick an ATH on the first try. You have to retest the zone, make a pullback, and if this pullback is still bullish in relation to the structure, you can eventually say to yourself that you're going to come back and try to take this high. So look at what happened in the space of 24 hours. We had the price at 69,300. We went back down to almost 59,000. So we had a 15% drop. 15%. And in the meantime, once we bottomed out at 59,068, we had the same pump in the other direction. So we have a V-shape here. So it's very simple. For me today, I'm going to look at two things: the top of this range and the bottom of this range, because you've created a new range here, folks. This range, if you start to deviate above it, i.e., if you start to go above it, then you fear a new higher. Then from there you break below it. You'll have a short setup to open from here, and it'll be a short setup deviating from the previous high. Should this happen, it would be very, very, very bearish, locally. We'd have an ABC that would drop much lower, and that would hurt BTC and alts a lot more. Second scenario, we're coming into this zone, because we're not going to take the high directly once again. Well, we're not going to break above it directly. We can move above it directly, but breaking above it is more complicated. Here, we're on the way up, so we can try and see where the 123 are. So here we see that the 123 zone is here. We're coming up to it. If we retrace here, we could have a long setup here. Why? Because it's the start of the movement. We're below liquidity in the demand zone, and our aim is to stop losing the lot at 59. So if we want to have a fairly decent risk-off reward, we're going to have to focus on what's happening in the zone here rather than here or here. Okay. So, no more than that to add. Be careful, the BTC is on the verge of potentially cracking its ath. Already experienced this on two previous bull markets. It may take a little time. We can create a kind of range here for a little while. What we shouldn't do is create a range and then have the BTC go down. That we create a range and that we deviate above it, then that we swallow and that we go back up again. That would be the worst scenario, but in the best scenario, we manage to prove a level here to go down a little, and from there we go higher. That's what I see. So, I'm going to give you a weekly analysis of the BTC, and we'll try to see how it evolves over the weeks. In any case, for today, I personally don't see any other possible setup. We've got a nice V-shape. After this retracement, you also need to know that when your market is in bull run, guys, it's going to tend to create flash crashes. So why flash crashes? Because the market's too bullish. There's too much demand, not enough supply. And so when we come back up and we're having trouble getting back into the FIBO zones, well, sometimes you get movements like this that shake everyone up a bit, so as to remove too many leveraged traders from the markets. That the purge is over. If you see that we're starting to take the high and we're starting to go a little higher, you can have a deviation. So this deviation can come from here to here, or it can go above here and go lower. When you take the high, if you take the high, of course, have you been back in this zone before or not? If the answer is no to this deviation, we'll go into this zone, and if this zone makes us bounce back but not take the high again, we'll go lower. Then okay, you have to understand this. If, for example, the deviation brings us back into this zone, and in this zone we have a rebound, but it recreates a higher lower, at which point we continue to fall. Okay, and to put it simply today, you're between this high and this low. So all you have to do is place your FIBO so that you can see that we're currently in the big zone, in a very big zone. We're reaching 4 to 8%, so we're going to have a retracement in no time. What we need to do is try to catch this retracement at the right time and in the right place. So it's true that it's easy to say like that, but a little harder to do in practice. But when you have the right zones to look at, theoretically, you know you have very little chance of missing them. So that's today's market update. and I'm pleased to give it to you. And I say take care and see you soon.